Hello everybody, this is Elisa from Menck Arts and Crafts, and today we are here for a WIP and chat. So WIP stands for work in progress. Chat, well, we're going to sit here, we're going to chat a little bit about the week, what I've been up to, all that fun stuff, and go from there. Oh, I don't have my glasses on, that's what's throwing me off. So for today's canvas, it's upside down right now, but I am working on one of my customs from Jaded Gem Shop. So this is a custom image of my dog Mai Lin, who I happened to lose about 2 years ago now. In October is when I lost her, but this is a custom of Mai Lin. So she's playing. I've got this whole bottom part from like midline of her nose done, and then I've got this portion right here done. So now I'm working over here on this portion, and I decided to go ahead and start with some of like the color blocking down into this background right here first, and then I'll come around. I am adding bling into her the flower right here. I did pull out some specials to add into there, so I'm gonna end up using, when I get to that point, I've got like a pixie dust, which is gonna go right up into here, another pixie dust 742, so those two colors are right there, and then I have a AB 727. Oh no, this is a pixie dust 72 or fairy dust 727, which is going to be part of right here, I believe. One of those two colors, and then the other one is a 973 AB, which is going to be the other color, but that's going to be what we have as far as the yellows that I'm going to do in the flower. So for my tools, my supplies, accessories that I'm using, I have my two standard, you guys should know it by now, Yellow Dog Designs trays that I've been using. I need to go swap out my pens. I have not swapped out my pens this week. Normally I swap out them out on Friday nights, and I just realized that I forgot to do that. So same pens as last week, my two Swampwood Crafts pens, which are both stunning. I thought this one I was still using because, you know, Halloween-y, and this one, even though it's green and blue, still gives me Halloween vibes. And then I'm also using this one, which is from Triple Crafts, their Filipino shop, and based in the Philippines. That's what I meant to say. And like, I love this grip. This right here is like probably my favorite handhold of any type of pen, is this style, which is why I always get that grip from my customs that I get with an Boys Outpost. I always get Edwards elongated pointy tip, or whatever it's called. That's like my go-to standard for those pens. So putty wise, I have some Thess Studios, and as my tissue goes flipping everywhere, I have some Thess Studios lemon scented putty and Orange Crush Wee Wax. So those are the accessories that I am using, and we're going to kind of get into it. I'm going to lower my table down, and we're going to take this entire plastic cover off because I do not need it right now. And then we're going to get into it. I'm going to start down here on the bottom. That's where I wanted to start today. Just because this is a tall section, so it's like when I have it flipped over, it can be tricky to reach up into here. So I figured I might as well start with like some of these ones that are easy to reach. Mostly I'm going to do right here because those colors are primarily right here. And then it'll be easier when I flip it over to kind of work on that smaller section. So let's see, what color do I want to use today? We're going to use the music. I'm going to do the music note. So I hope everybody has had a wonderful week. Did everybody survive that like freezing cold temperatures that we had earlier this week? Oh my goodness, you guys, that was just not pleasant. I was freezing. It has officially started to, like, the temperature has changed, and it's officially turning into winter, which is something I am not a fan of. I do not enjoy winter. I do not enjoy cold. I like, 78 to 80. That is my comfortable temperature. Like, it's been, like, it got down into the, oh gosh, what was it down into? Like the 50s, I want to say, on Monday or Tuesday, one of those 2 days. It was cold. Like, it was down to 29, I want to say, here that night. And then it ended up getting up to about, like, 50 something or so for Tuesday during that, like, polar vortex freeze us out business that we had. I am not a fan of the cold. I have never chosen a cold duty station location on purpose because it is not something I'm a fan of, obviously. Yeah, so that was something that I was like, okay, this is too much too soon. Thankfully, it's been back up into like the 70s since then, But even still, it's still chilly enough when it's in the 70s that my house temperature ends up being at like, oh gosh, my house temperature ends up being around, like, ends up running around like 70. I think at the house maybe at 69 or 70 right now. I'd have to double check. But that's still too cold for me. Like with the house at 69 or 70, I'm usually sitting in here wearing a hoodie and sweatpants, or even an Oodie and sweatpants, which an Oodie is a blanket hoodie. They are the most amazing invention ever, and I love them. So yeah, it gets, it's been chilly for me, much colder than what I like in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, that's not been fun. I've been freezing. The girls have been cold too, you know, because they're basically naked cats. Well, no, they have fur, but they're not naked like a sphinx. They have more fur than that, but not enough as like a regular cat. So the girls have been living in a all snuggled into blankets and everything else. It's the cutest thing ever. So I have 3 different Oodies. Well, one is an actual, 2 of them are actual Oodies, and then the third one is like an Amazon version of the Oodie. And if I'm wearing one, which I'm not right now for the sake of filming, it's just awkward with the arms on them for filming. But if I'm wearing an Oodie, in order to not have 2 cats trying to snuggle inside my Oodie with me, which then means I can't move because I have to hold them in place. So what I end up having to do is I have the other 2 Oodies on the floor in here. One of them is on the floor and one is on the chair. And I'll end up with a cat in each of them. It is the most hilarious thing ever. Because, of course, they each have to have their own Oodie. They can't be in the same one. They have to have their own. Silly cats. But yeah, that's basically with the cold. That's what we have been doing. We have been trying to snuggle and stay warm, which is a struggle with how cold it is lately. And I know that's like cold is all relative, considering I know a lot of y'all are, if you're up in like the Midwest or up in like the Great Lakes region, it has been absolutely freezing cold, and you guys have already had snow, especially for like, you know, those up in Canada have definitely had snow as well. And I'm like, yeah, no thanks. I do not live in those locations for a reason, because I do not like it at all. Way too cold. I'm just like, okay, I can't wait to get to the point where I can retire and move back to Hawaii and not have to deal with the cold at all anymore. If I want the cold, I can go to the Big Island and, you know, go up to the mountains, or on either on I can go on Maui or on the Big Island, go up the mountains, go up Haleakala, go up to Mauna Loa, Mauna Kea, all of that. Go up to the Big Island, the mountains, and go up and, you know, enjoy the cold and the potential for snow that way. But yeah, otherwise, no thanks. I'm fine with, you know, a consistent 78 to 82 degrees. That's like my happy place, because right now, this being 70 in the house, way too cold for me. But I'm too cheap to run the heat and turn it up to like my comfortable 78, because yeah, no, not doing that. So it's like it's the silliness of it. So working on a Jaded Gem Shop, this is one of the like the hybrid charted kits, and she doesn't really do much. There's some cleaning up that gets done with the customs, but it's less than what you would get on a normal hybrid charting Jaded Gem Shop canvas. So it's definitely a confetti heavy canvas for sure. Now, it does look really good once finished when you step back and look at it. It's not one that you look at like you typically, when you're looking at a Jaded Gem Shop non-pixel charted canvas, it's not something that you look at it like a foot away and be like, oh my gosh, that it still looks good, but it's not something that you're like, oh, that's perfection. It's like when you step back and it all blends together that you're like, okay, that worked, that looked good. But it's like I don't care for doing the pixel charting one, or not the pixel. I don't care for doing these ones in squares. I think I have very, very select few in squares, And then everything else that I have from Jaded Gem Shop, as far as these hybrid charts, are all in rounds. Because I don't mind it so much in rounds. Now, if I was doing this in squares, I would be complaining. Because I don't like doing confetti or anything like that. And it's like, yes, there's a little bit of like the checkerboarding in some of these areas. But overall, the color, like there are areas with some color blocking in addition to that. So it's not something that's just like a pure checkerboard canvas, which is good. But this is, I had initially back in 2023 over Black Friday, had ordered 3 customs from Jaded Gem Shop. I had ordered my Fierce Foo, which I already finished, and it's one of my favorite finishes of all time. I had ordered Mai Lin, which I'm working on right now, and then Myanmar Monks, which is on my like top 10 most intimidating ones, because that one I did get in square because it needed it for the image and the size point that I wanted. I could have gotten it in rounds and just gone with like a significantly larger size, but I didn't feel like doing that. I could have put that one there. So I just went with the square version of that one. So it's going to be, it's like a 60 by 80, it's square, and it is, oh, I got the little, it's throwing me off looking at these upside down because I've been staring at them from the other direction, which is so funny because I normally have no problems looking at symbols upside down. I keep smashing into my tripod or my filming arm with my forehead. All right, so yeah, that's the thing. It's always like a fine line of balancing where I put my phone for filming when I'm doing a WIP and chat to where, you know, I'm not having my head smashing into it and it's not blocking my view and I can still diamond paint, but then also where you guys can actually get a view if you're somebody that likes to actually watch. So I try, but I never, because I work on an easel, I don't do like a super close-up one, and I don't work on an easel, or I work on an easel, and I also don't do small sections. So if I was working in a small section like this, absolutely yes, I could zoom in on just a small little area. But this is my section, which is like a third of the entire canvas, and this is a 50 by 50 canvas. So pretty decent sized sections basically is what I'm getting at for that. Trying to delineate my like top border of this symbol. Sometimes I'm good with just like working in one area like I was here and working sequentially over, and then I get distracted and start doing things like that. But because I don't like just being stuck with just a small little space. So anywho, all right. So this week, what was I up to? Oh yes. So I had to work on Monday, which I was so bummed about, but you know, you gotta alternate who has the holidays that we have to work. I did get Tuesday, the actual holiday, off for Veterans Day, but I did have to work Monday. It was basically like an admin day, and I think I ended up doing like a whole lot of nothing. Like not much got done by me at all on Monday. It was bad. I was like, I could have actually been productive and done stuff, but nope, did not happen. I got a little bit done, but really nothing like what I could have done. But that was Monday. And then Tuesday was the holiday. So I finished, I think I want to say on Monday when I got home from work, I was able to finish my massive Kit Up Palooza because I finished last weekend. I was able to finish, I want to say on Sunday, Halloween Bedroom for Miss Butter D, that last canvas that I was working on. I finished that one on, I want to say Sunday. I'm not sure off the top. I can't remember. It's been a few days. But I finished her and then I had to kit down because that was the last one that I had kitted up. So I had like 8 canvases plus that I had to kit down. Plus I hadn't gotten around to finishing like transferring my spare drills in squares over to my new storage system that I have for them. I had all the way through the 900s done, but I didn't have like the 3000s done. So I went ahead and kitted down, finished doing that transfer of drills. So that was like a good portion of my weekend into like Monday. And I had started a kitting up palooza because I hate kitting up, I hate kitting down, but I keep all of my spare drills because I use them for cross stitch conversions for little projects, which reminds me I need to pull out a canvas and do a little project because that just sounds fun because I haven't done one in a while. So With that, like I said, I use them for my spare drills, so I keep them, and I'll do those cross-stitch conversions with both round or square. So I need to get some nice blank round canvases, because it actually looks surprisingly good, and it's not something that you're like, okay, that looks horrible, when you see it in rounds, the round ones on the white canvas. So I need to kind of like pull out some of those. I also, oh, that's actually a really good idea. I have the some blank canvases, or not blank, but like the colorless canvases from a couple different shops that are like you use your drills to kind of like color it in yourself. And I have those from a couple different shops. I think I have a couple from Crystal Canvas Art Designs, and then I have a couple from, I think I have one from Enablers Outpost, and I have one from Muni Made. So I need to pull those out. That's actually a really good idea, because then I can kind of pull out some spare drills and I could work on those if I wanted to. That does sound like a good idea. But but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I didn't even think about that as being an intimidating thing. So I need to pull that up and do that. But yeah, that is on my to-do list. I should probably like think of everything that I want to, like the projects and things that I want to do in 2026, because I've got some projects that I've been wanting to do and I have not done anything with them. They've just been sitting there, but they're planned. Like I had purchased two canvases from Jaded Gem Shop that are the same exact canvas, one in square, one in rounds. They're both pixel charted. So everything else is going to be identical, minus the fact that the round one is just slightly larger. But I wanted to do like actually work on both of those, and it'll be a way to kind of see, okay, this is how a pixel charted canvas from Jaded Gem Shop looks in rounds, but also on the same thing, what it looks like in squares, and then kind of compare how long it takes me to work on each of those. So that's something that I've had the canvases since this summer or so to do that. I just haven't gotten around to doing it, so I really need to. Because I did distract myself this summer because I had decided earlier in the summer to start working on some of my older kits, try to work through some of my early purchases. So that's something that I had been doing for this year. I've been trying to make a goal of working through some of those early purchases, which actually lines up with what Lisette from Lisette Crafts and Tells is starting in like January. She's doing her stash refresh, which is basically you work on your old kits and clear them out of your hoard, so that way you can work on you can then enjoy the new kits, because things change with drills. Like depending on the company you have, like they'll make upgrades, they'll make changes. Like even with Diamond Art Club, they've made changes to their drills, they've made changes to their canvases, to their rendering style, all of that over the last few years. So if you're working on a bunch of if you're working on new canvases and then you go back to do an old canvas, you can lose some of the joy from working on that old canvas, because it's a different quality than what you're used to from their newer stuff. So it's a good way to kind of like prevent that from happening, because you just work on all the old ones and get them out of your hoard, and then you can roll into the new ones. So I had started kind of working onto that, and I brought my first diamond painting in April of 2023. That's when I started diamond painting, April of 2023. And on top of that, so that's when I did my first purchases, but I went like hog wild. You guys have seen my hoard. You guys know how much I have. But I went hog wild and I went all out. I should probably move my phone charger because that doesn't need to be right there. But yeah, I went hog wild all out when I first started, and I've bought so many kits. And granted, I've like bought significantly more than that as, each subsequent, I've bought a lot, and I'm trying to cut back on purchases. That drill has a little tab on it. I've been really cutting back on purchases lately, because I'm like, oh my gosh, even when I'm like, oh, I'm going to be on a low buy, and then I still buy all the things. So I've been trying to work on that, and because I have so many in my hoard, and yes, I do work fairly quickly, but at the same time, I have a lot of canvases in my hoard. Like, I'd be set for, number of years if I, like, I'd have a good number of years of diamond painting if I never bought another diamond painting. So I was like, I need to be extremely limited on what I purchase diamond painting wise. So that's one of the things that I've been really trying to work on the old ones, get through those. So over this summer, I worked through all of, so I'm doing all of the ones that are not from my rainy day hoard, and I'll leave those once I finished the non-rainy day, then I'll start working on rainy day canvases. But as far as my non-rainy day hoard, I have completed everything that I bought in April, May, and I want to say I'm into June of 2023. April, May, and then June of 2023. And then I think I'm into I want to say that there's like 2 or so from July that I've got that I did in my Kit Up Palooza. So when I said I did my Kit Up Palooza, I ended up kitting up 8 canvases that are roughly like the standard canvas size. A couple of them are smaller, like Mai Lin, which is a 50 by 50. But I kitted up 8 canvases that all fall into like that older purchase side, except for Mai Lin was a November of 23 purchase, but still it was a 2023 canvas. And I have a handful of them that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I just haven't gotten around to kitting them up, so they haven't gotten done yet. So I've been working on those this month, but then I also had plenty of leftover space in my my storage containers for more stuff, because, you know, if this only has 46 colors, that leaves plenty of room, and that's only like, you know, maybe two-thirds of the way through the storage in my Elizabeth Ward containers that I use. So then to fill out my storage containers, I ended up kitting up a bunch of mini small like mini projects. So like some of my Diamond Delights kits, which are perfection, because those are small little ones that don't take that long for me to do. Also, you know, some of my Flossy Fox shops, basically all of those small things like that really are like, for me, a one-day project where I sit down and I finish it in one day. So I went through and I kitted up those and essentially filled up every storage container with the available storage. I think I've got one mini Elizabeth Ward storage container left that has not this size, all of them that are like that size containers, the big square containers are all that's left in that one storage container, which I'm like, I can't use that to kit anything up in, because, you know, I don't like using the containers that are too big. So that's something that I need to pick up another tray of just the tiny ones, because I need more of like this size container here. So that's something that I'll probably pick up like one more tray of that. I do technically have the Diamond Art Club storage containers, which I have yet to actually use. So I'm like, if I haven't even used them yet, I'm like, I should probably just, you know, get rid of them if I have not even bothered to use them. But because I was hoping that they would come out, like, it would have been so much better if they had these tiny containers, because this is what I use the most of. I hate putting drills, like, I hate putting a tiny amount of drills in a larger container. That's like a huge pet peeve of mine. And I'm like, if they had come out with small containers like this, I could probably see if my Elizabeth Ward little ones would work in the Diamond Art Club one. I could look and try that and see, because I do not like the fact that it's all the larger containers. They needed to have the small ones, and I kept hoping that they would come out and release the small ones, but I have not seen that happen yet, because that would have been like perfection for kitting up, because kitting up with all of the larger containers and not having the tiny ones is, to me, not enjoyable. I don't like kitting up like that. So anywho, so I kit up, I think it was a grand total of like 17 canvases between the large ones and the small ones. I think I ended up kitting up 17 canvases, which is crazy. That's a lot. But yeah, I kit up 17 different canvases, and I've just been kind of like, so I did that, and then I started working on Mai Lin, this one right here, on Tuesday, I think, is when I laid my first drills on this one, because I had finished kitting up. Tuesday was the holiday, so I was able to kind of like, kind of get started on this one, but then I was also working on I have two cross stitch alongs that I'm doing. One of them is the Flossy Fox Flower Dragon Meadow Sal. So I'm doing that one, which I'm actually doing in both diamond painting, cross stitch conversion form, and in just straight cross stitch. So I have that one going, and then I have another one from Noctiflora Designs. It's called Toad Ghoul Terrarium, and that one I'm doing as an actual, just a straight stitch along. And that one, she releases the pattern every Friday. It's like you'll get 3 Fridays of releases, and then you'll get like a Friday off, so that way you have like that week for catch up. And I have got to say, and it's like she doesn't release a massive section. It's a smaller section because it's like it's going to be the same size overall finished as the Flossy stitch along, but the Flossy is only 6 sections, whereas this one I think is like 11 or 12, like 10 or 11, 12, somewhere around in there. So a little bit smaller section, so it doesn't take you quite as long to finish. But I had to, let's see, this week is an off week for that stitch along, but I didn't even start the previous week's section until, oh gosh, I think it was Wednesday, I want to say, is when I started it. So I worked on Mai Lin on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I pulled out the cross stitch to work on that, and I did a little bit of both, where I worked on the cross stitch for a little bit, and then I worked on this canvas, or I did it the other way around. I really don't remember, but I worked on both of them. And now I have so many drills on my table. Oh my goodness. And I did finish that section of the cross stitch last night, which reminds me, we were having a conversation in the Crafters Den Discord about like tracking our time that we do on kits. And I've been tracking my time on the kits in the Gems Flow app, but we were talking about different like time trackers and everything. And Katie, not Diamonds and Washi, different Katie. Katie was showing like how the stats and the data that she can do because of her tracker, and how you can have it all like presented in like graphs, and it'll say, okay, you spent this much total time today doing your diamond painting, and this is what you worked on. And I was like, oh my goodness, I love it. But she has an Android, so the tracker that she has is an Android specific and doesn't have an Apple equivalent. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just, and then someone else, I think it was Gemmed Giraffe, she had showcased the one that she uses for her app, or for her Apple product, and someone else had mentioned that the combination of using like Toggle and Timery and everything, and how those are like a good standard for Apple products. So I checked out the Toggle and Timery, and it was just like so confusing to like log in, and it was kind of one of those things where it wanted you to log in every time you opened the app, and I'm like, I don't got time for that. It's like, it's not like there's important vital information that's going to be stolen by me being logged into the app and not re-logging in every time I want to use it, because that annoys me when I have to do that. I'm like, no, I don't want to have to sit there and try to put in my username and password, and then it's like you had to like log into both apps and blah 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 blah, and I'm like, this is no. So I started kind of like creating the account and everything for it, and then I realized I'm not going to enjoy this one. So then I started looking at the other one that was recommended, and that one I was like, okay, I kind of like the look of it. But then as I was in the Apple store looking at things, I found a different one. It's called Timelines, that I liked the interface look of it, and like the colors and the interface and everything like that. So I ended up going with that one, and I have got to say, I'm enjoying it. I've been working with it all week long. I've got it where it's basically, it'll run in the background. So the complaint that I had with tracking with Gems Flow is if you open other apps in Gems Flow, other than Gems Flow, when you go back to Gems Flow, it like resets your time and removes the ongoing tracker, which is annoying because it's like sometimes you want to like pick up your phone and like scroll something real quickly and then put it back down and continue diamond painting. I do that all the time. And I usually have like YouTube or like a drama channel, something playing in the background or playing while I'm diamond painting. So that way I'm listening to something / watching one of my Asian dramas. But every time I would do that with, Gems Flow, I would have to, before I actually went back to the app, I always had to do, when you swipe up and you can see all the apps that are open, I would have to do that to see what time I had started my tracker. Because if I didn't, because then once I got back to the app, to Gems Flow, it would wipe the time, and then I'd have to re-put in the start time and then the end time, and it's just very tedious doing that. So, because I love tracking my time, and I have been tracking my time all along, because I like to record how long it takes me to complete a diamond painting. So with this new app, Timelines, I don't have to worry about that, which is fantastic, and I am loving it. And it's like the timer, you'll have it in like the little top part of your phone, you'll see the timer, and it'll be tracking like how long you've been doing, and you can start and stop it and everything from there. And I actually, okay, I think I'm gonna have to change the colors back. I just changed my watch, but you can see right here this little 31:30. So I've been going for 30 minutes on this session right now. So I even put it where it's on my watch, so I can start and stop and everything right from my Apple Watch. I was playing around with it. I changed the colors on my Apple Watch face, and I'm to like the rainbow colors. And now I'm looking at it and I'm like, no, I've got to go back to like my one tone color. I might go with something that's not the same green that I've always had for ages. I might go with something a little bit different for some variety, but I have to go back to the single color instead of the multiple colors that I have on there right now. But anyways, I have been really enjoying this app. I think it's fantastic, and it's like really cool seeing the interface and how like you can look at your breakdown and be like, oh, I spent this much time diamond painting this today, this week, this month, whatever, and it divides it up by project. So for this app, you have a different project being each diamond painting, and and then you just click on which one you want to like record the time for that you're working on. So I'm like, I love it. It's so easy. And then it's like I still write everything down in my logbook once I finish everything anyways. I'll still put like my progress photos and finished photos in Gems Flow because that's not going to change. But as far as the time tracking component, I'm starting to do my time tracking in this other app instead of doing my time tracking in Gems Flow. So that's what I'm up to as far as that. So yeah, I'm happy with that. I did purchase the Art by Julia Duck's mystery canvas. I know what the images. I always know what the images are when I purchase from mystery kits. This is only like except for if I do a mystery kit from Jaded Gem Shop for the Crafter's Den mysteries. I know I'm not doing the Autumn Jaded Gem Shop Crafter's Den mystery canvas because the artist is one that is typically a very confetti heavy artist, and even though Jade makes those kits hand rendered, I was still like, and it's a very popular artist, it was one of those that I'm like, I really don't want to. It's just gonna be, I was like, no, I don't want to, because it would have been in order to do it, because they're such confetti heavy kits and they're so detailed from this particular artist, which you can go to Jaded Gem Shop's website to see what the artist is. But I was like, I really don't feel like doing that. Because it's like, a lot of times I kind of alternate. I'll do one Jaded Gem Shop mystery in rounds, and then the next one I'll do in squares, and I'll kind of like, will alternate back and forth. And the one that I just finished and was one that was in rounds. So that means that I would be up for like a square one. Well, also really depends on the image too, because sometimes Jade will release ones that are in like a smaller, more manageable size. And if it's in a small, more manageable size, I'll typically get that one as a square. Because then you really truly get like the full mystery kit experience, versus if you get it in rounds, your canvas isn't black and white with the round mystery. Your canvas is going to be colored because it needs to be colored because round drills and spaces around them. So once you peel the black plastic back, you can actually see exactly what your image is. So it's a little bit harder to sustain and maintain like the sense of mystery when you're doing the a round version, but sometimes I just want that round rather than a square mystery canvas. But this one would have been absolutely, I was kind of in the mood for a square mystery, but this one that's the autumn mystery was a large enough one that I was like, okay, I'm not buying that one in squares. So I like to, like I said, I like to keep my square ones small from Jaded Gem Shop. Just in period, in general, I ideally would prefer to do smaller squares. I don't mind doing small square canvases. It's those larger ones that I find tedious and intimidating. As you guys probably saw from my like 10 most intimidating canvases. And now I'm going to have to do the one that Natalie did of the 5 most anticipated canvases for the year. I have to think of what, like, I don't even know, like, what I would classify as my top 5 most anticipated canvases for 2025. That'll be interesting to see. I'm kind of curious. Let's see, where did, oh, I put the container, the blank container I was talking with earlier, I put it in the slot where these drills go. So I think I'm done with that color on this canvas, which is kind of cool. So now I'm going to pick another color. We're going to go with, I have to pick one that's not all up in here. Well, I could, let's go with, I could do N, work right over here with the N's, because I don't see, there's a couple N's up into here. We're going to do N. That's half the battle, is figuring out what color I want to do next. When I start up into more of Mai Lin's face, I will do the black, the 310, which is going to be this section here, down in here. I'll do that. But anywho, so now, as you can see, we are on to another color. And I always work slower when I'm doing the, a WIP and chat is always slower for me. There. I had to scoot the drill down to where it went. I have a handful of these, the symbol up into here. So anywho, that's kind of, like I said, that was kind of, I think, what was I even chatting about? I totally got distracted. Mystery kits, that's what. So I did purchase the Art by Julia duck one, because I have all the other ducks, and that was one that I was like, I have to have it. So I now have 3 Diamond Art Club mystery canvases. That's it, just 3. I'm not going to end up purchasing a lot or anything like that, because it's not something that is going to be like one, because you have to work on them in smaller sections, because for me, the black and white grid makes it much harder to distinguish symbols, because I'm more of like a color distinguishing person in everything, and it kind of like throws me off and makes it much harder for me when they are all in black and white. So I prefer to do, oh, there's a few of the those that I missed, a few of the musical notes that I missed right here. So we're gonna put that one there and that one there, because it's a close enough color. We're just gonna call that good. That needs to go over there. My placement was atrocious on that, because I'm sitting a little lower than I normally would to work into the upper edges of the canvas, because filming. But this way I get this knocked out. And see, this is one of those things where you find colors that you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that I missed so much of that color when there's more of the confetti. But we're just going to turn it into this color, because they're close enough together. Like, I think that one was a 415 and this is a 318, which is still a shade of gray. Just, you know, a slightly different shade of gray. Of course. There's a lot of grays and tans in shades of gray and shades of tan and like blues. There's actually a fair amount of blue to showcase Mai Lin's little black face. So yeah, it's coming along nicely. I'm enjoying how well this is coming together and looking. It looks really good when you see the whole thing that's done so far. It looks really good. You won't be able to tell much when I turn off the light at the end of the WIP and chat, because this is such a, because I haven't gotten a big portion of this section done. So you won't notice as much on this side, but you'll be able to see over into here when I turn off the light pad and everything when I'm done with the WIP and chat. So that way you can kind of see what the progress looks like. It looks really good, especially from like that viewing distance. It looks really good. And I'm very pleased with it so far. So that is that. This is one that I might end up actually having this one mounted and hanging this one. So I will probably, because I move so often, I will probably see about sealing my canvases. If I do any mounting, I will probably seal any that I mount, even the Diamond Art Clubs. And that's mostly because I move so frequently. And, you know, if I'm moving all the time, and if it's one thing where you're staying in one place and the canvases are just up on the wall and you don't have to worry about it, it's one thing. But if you're moving every 2 to 3 years and the canvases are going to be constantly, you know, like packaged up and all of that, I like, I'll go ahead and probably go ahead and seal them to kind of protect them a little bit from any potential loss of drills in the move when I do move, that type of thing. So this is one that I believe I do want to mount because it's Mai Lin and I want to be able to show off her cuteness. And then on top of that, besides Mai Lin, this image here, I also have my Fierce Foo, which I would love to get Fierce Foo hung up because that goes perfectly with the decor I have in my house. And then I also have my custom from Diamond Art Club from the Treasure Quest cards. That one I plan on getting, when I complete that one, which I actually kitted up as part of my Kit Up Palooza. So that one I plan on working on in this next month or two. That one's going to take me longer. It is a very confetti heavy kit because they're not completely hand rendered. They're very, very much like the computer rendered, but a little bit of cleaning up. So kind of like you get on the hybrids. But then the special drills are hand charted in. But the entire kit is not hand charted like you get with a regular Diamond Art Club, because they're not going to spend that amount of time working on the canvas to completely hand chart. They go and they kind of clean up some stuff, but it's not going to be a pure hand charting. So that one is definitely much more confetti heavy. Also, the image itself lends itself to being more confetti heavy as well, with the fact that it's that watercolor. Watercolor in general tends to end up a little bit more confetti in it. So like if you've ever worked on a Margaret Morales, I haven't worked on them yet, but I have a few in my hoard. But if you look at the Margaret Moraleses, they are very much tend to be some high color count canvases, and you look at it and you don't think it's confetti, but once you start working on it, you realize, oh wait, this is confetti. And that's just the nature of watercolor, really, is what it comes down to. That's just how watercolor is. So my custom is my mom's painting. She titled it Mountain Temple. So it's a watercolor, which, well, actually, I think that one might actually be a pastel, not a watercolor. But regardless, it still has that it's going to lend itself to being very confetti heavy just by the nature of the medium that she did it in and how those colors blend on the paper. So anywho, that's another one that I'm going to be working on this month as well. But it's going to take me longer, and that's not one that I'm going to be like, must finish this month. I expect that one to like work on it a little bit, then, you know, move on to another project, work on it for a little bit, work on another project, and kind of do it off and on, kind of in the background to savor it a little bit. And I might end up doing I will end up doing smaller sections on it to help kind of like with that, pacing it for that. Because it's like I still have a few cards left to acquire before I can get another custom from Diamond Art Club. I've got quite a few cards left to acquire in order to do that. So, because you need 6 golds and 6 silvers, and then the bronzes, which the bronzes, no one has to struggle getting bronzes. I wish, you know, we needed to use more bronzes to redeem for things, because that would, you know, make use of the codes on all my bronzes that I have. I have yet to get a black card, which is kind of ironic considering I have purchased many a kit and I have yet to get a black in any of my canvases. With my first batch for that first custom, I was getting all golds, and it was a struggle to get the final silver that I needed. But then in this round, I have the silvers that I need, but now I'm struggling to get the golds. So it's really interesting seeing how, you know, how it goes. But like I said, I have yet to get a black. But anyways, I'll eventually get another one. But those are, and that one will probably be another image that I did to see how one of my images turns out on Diamond Art Club. So, but anywho, so that's what I've been, my kits that I have, kind of like some of the kits I have planned out. And on top of that, let's see. So I'm looking at my pile of canvases that I have purchased this month, and it is so much better than so far. Granted, we're only halfway through the month, but it's definitely better than what my purchases were, or not the purchases per se. It's like the canvases that I received this month. And it's definitely less by far than what I received last month. So yeah, the canvases, I think I have 3 Diamond Art Clubs sitting on my floor, and then 1 Crafties Sybil art that I got from a D-stash. So we're halfway through the month, and that's only 4 things. And the Sybil, that one doesn't really count because it's a Sybil art. But then the 3 Diamond Art Clubs, I think one of them is, let's see, I have the Yume, the Margaret Morales, and the Duck Mystery, the Art by Julia Mystery, which I just call those duck canvases instead of the Art by Julia's. Instead of saying Art by Julia, I usually just think of them as duck canvases. Even in my Gems Flow, I have them I have all my kits labeled with the artist name. But for all of those ones by Art by Julia, they're not labeled Art by Julia in like the title. They're labeled ducks. It's really funny. Because that's, to me, they're the duck ones. So anywho, let's see. Oh, you guys, I know I talked about how, I think I mentioned that I did mention that I went ahead and purchased the chair. I got it off of, the desk chair, and I got it off of, Facebook Marketplace. And let me tell you, it has been a game changer. Yes, my back will still hurt if I'm doing, you know, like a really long diamond painting session without moving, but it's not a matter of me sitting down and within, you know, the first 15 minutes, my back is killing me and I feel like I need to get up and move. So that is a huge, huge, huge improvement, and I'm super happy about that. And I'm like, okay, this was well worth the money I spent on this chair. Thankfully, I was able to get it off of Marketplace for a fraction of the cost. But yeah, that makes me super happy that I was able to get this canvas, or this chair, which has been total game changer. So much more comfortable. The only downside is with this style of chair, I can't sit with my legs crossed on the chair. I had thrown the plastic cover sheet for this onto the desk next to me, and it just fell off the desk. So in case you wondered what that weird sound was, it was the plastic falling on the floor. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm getting down into the end of this section. I just have this little patch right here of this symbol. And then we will be good on this color. It's coming along. So yes, I'm not making nearly as much progress as I normally would if this wasn't more of like the checkerboarding. So there is a fair amount of like checkerboardy. I'm like, because this is a kit that I love so much, I'm not finding it as atrociously tedious as I do on other canvases, and it's rounds, so it's not as bad. But yes. Oh, so I actually cooked last night / today. I am so proud of myself. I have a chili cook-off at one of our leaders' house. She's hosting a chili cook-off for the officers today. So I was like, okay, well, and everybody has to bring something, whether it's a chili or a side or something, but everybody has to bring something. So I was like, okay, fine, I will make chili. So I looked up this recipe that looked really cool. I was like, okay, this will be interesting. I've never cooked with beer before, but it called for like a can of beer for the broth type stuff. And instead of adding like a broth or instead of adding a broth or anything like that, I'm not a big fan of like beer flavor, but I'm like, I'll try it. Might as well see how it goes. So I did that. I sampled my chili this morning because I had to prep all the ingredients, like brown the meat, cook the sausage, blah, 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 blah. I did all of that last night. And then cooked the veggies with their basic cook and popped them all into the vat with all the other stuff. Did that in the crock pot. And it's been basically, it was cooked overnight. I slow cooked it for like 10 hours overnight. And then today, I just for breakfast this morning, I decided to sample the chili and see how it tasted. And I'm like, okay, there's a little bit more bitterness of the beer than I would expect. So I'm like, okay, so I trialed in my cup, in my little bowl of chili, I added a little bit of honey to kind of like cut some of the bitterness. And I was like, that's an interesting flavor. I think I like that. So I did add that little bit of honey to it, which helped. So then I went ahead and added it to the actual full vat of it. So mixed some honey into that full vat to kind of cut some of the bitterness. And now we will sample it shortly. I will for lunch I will sample and see if I like the flavor added or if I need to add a little bit more. But I'll do that today. All right. So what color? I should really just fill in this symbol. Maybe I'll do the Y's. They're a lot up into here. I think those two symbols are way over there, so I'll have to do those together. Let's do that one's up in there. I should just call it and work on this symbol there. I'm gonna have a lot of it, so it doesn't really matter. All right, I'm talking to myself, planning what symbol I want to use for the last couple minutes, but we're almost at the end anyways. So I know I've just kind of babbled randomly about everything, but made some progress. Not like huge progress, but there is a lot more checkerboarding per se. Ooh, sorry, I was stretching. There's a little bit more of the checkerboarding on this canvas compared to the others, but you can see here we've got this section right here done for the background, a lot of the grays that I'm working on, and it looks really good. So like, and you can see how the detail right here for her face, how that looks. It looks really good, especially when you see it from like the distance. You guys will see the finish of this canvas in my month in review at the end of the month. But that's kind of where we're at as far as this one. And now I'll start filling in this color that's kind of like right in here for the majority of these holes, right through here. And then it kind of comes up this way for part of the background. But that is all I have for you guys for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's WIP and Chat, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.